Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Today is going to be more of an informational video than an instructional video because I'm going to talk about yoga equipment. I think it's really, really important that you find what's comfortable for you in order for you to gain the most benefits out of any practice. There's so many choices you have that if you don't pick the right ones and if you stick with something that's not real comfortable for you, you probably won't continue your practice. And that's in anything, sports, playing a musical instrument, and in yoga. So the first thing I'm going to talk about today are mats. You will probably go through up to 5, 6, 7 mats before you find the one you want to spend the rest of your life with. just like a husband or wife. There are so many choices, and I'm going to go through some of those choices that you have. Number one is the length. If you're over 6 feet, be sure to buy an extra long mat. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? The thickness of the mat is really important. The standard mat is 1/8 inch thick, and that's the mat I use. There are thinner ones that are about a 1/16 inch, and they're really good if you travel with your mat because they're very lightweight. But if you get on the floor with them, it's almost like you don't have a mat at all. You might as well use a towel almost. So the 1/8 inch is the one I use, and I often use it with padding. I'll talk about padding in a minute. There are also thicker ones, about 1/2 inch maybe. And those are good if you have real cranky knees, cranky elbows, cranky sit bones that hurt when you get down on the floor and you need extra padding. The problem with those are that they are often spongy. And when you put your foot in it, your foot imprint will stay there when you lift your foot up. It's not real conducive for balance poses or moving from pose to pose. Kind of slows you down. So there's a big disadvantage in having those thicker mats. And you can get padding, which I will talk about, for your 1/8 inch mats that will really help you with your cranky areas. The materials are often PVC, which is the most common, and that's the kind I use. And no, they're not very eco-friendly, but they have a good consistency and they are sticky. Not peanut butter sticky, not dirty sticky. They're sticky so that when you are in a pose such as a lunge or one of the warrior poses or downward dog, you won't slip. You don't want to slip. And if it's not PVC, you're bound to slip a little bit. I think they're getting better at some of these eco-friendly materials, but they're still they have a reputation for being a little too slick. Eco-friendly materials include cotton, jute, and rubbers, natural rubbers. Kind of slick. The next thing, if you're allergic to latex, then you do not want to use the rubber mats. You'll have a problem with that. The next thing we think about is the texture, which has to do with the stickiness again. And PVC is the best for being sticky and holding you down to the ground, down to the mat. So keep that in mind. I did hear where there was something, a new eco-friendly material that wasn't quite as slippery as they have been known to be. So you might want to do your investigation. It would be wonderful. People in yoga are really in tune with wanting to be friendly with the earth. And on Earth Day, which is today, wouldn't it be nice to find an eco-friendly mat that you didn't go ice skating on? Yes, that would be great. PVC are softer mats, and the jute mats are rough mats. I don't really like a rough mat, so I wouldn't be, that didn't really appeal to me. Oh, let me introduce Yogi Kitty. She came in to live with me at Christmas time. She's so sweet. You want to have a cleaner, and you want to look up your cleaners on the internet and buy one that is going to be nice to clean your mat with. And you clean your PVC mats before you use them, and then after every use you clean your mat. I would look up, I'm sure there's recipes to make your own cleaner. I'm real sensitive to smells, and I noticed even with lavender mat cleaners, it was too strong for me and would stick with the mat, and I didn't like that. So I have found those that are fragrance free to be really the best in my opinion. But you might like a fragrance. That's okay. It's up to you. This is your equipment. The next thing we want to talk about are blankets and bolsters. I use Mexican woven cotton blankets that I have gotten off the internet. They are hand woven. They're very colorful, very fun, and they add, I have two of them, and they add just the right amount of thickness. I sit on them. I lay them all the way out when I go into my relaxation pose and lay on them. I cover myself up sometimes in relaxation pose. And I lay them out when I get on my knees for knee padding. I have very, very cranky knees now that I've matured. So I use them very frequently. They're always right next to me during a yoga session. You can buy these bolsters that are really pretty big, and they're used to sit on for meditation. Very comfortable to sit on. I sit on my blankets too. I sit on 2 of them at a time. I like to sit on something, it raises my torso up. I have a short torso, so it takes a lot to raise it up. But these bolsters are really fabulous to sit on. I haven't gotten one yet. They're at my yoga studio, but I might save my pennies up and get one. I'm sure they're pretty expensive. Oh, back to mats, the price. Price is something you're going to want to think about. I was very lucky, and the mats I use, I found for $20. But generally, you'll spend between $50 and $100 for a good yoga mat. Another thing about yoga mats, you will really want to pick your design. You might want a plain green one. You might want a hot pink one. You might want one with squares or triangles all over it. You might want one with elephants all over it. But whatever you pick, be happy with it. If you just want a plain colored one, that's fine. If you want some design, that's fine too. You all know me. I'm going to pick a design, right? Right. Back to blankets and bolsters. Sorry, I got off the track. Another thing is you're going to want to have a couple small towels, either to cover your eyes with or to lay down on your mat when we put our faces on the mat. I hate to lay my face on my yoga mat without a towel. I like the feeling of a towel. I don't like materials like that against my face. I don't feel comfortable. Might not bother you, but it bothers me. So have a couple dedicated towels ready also. The next thing is blocks. There are styrofoam blocks, which I use because they're lightweight. They were pretty inexpensive. And I have 3 or 4 of them that I have near my yoga mat. Usually I only use one, but just in case, you're not cheating when you use a block. You are allowing the earth to meet you. Just because you can't reach the earth doesn't mean the earth can't come up and meet you, and that helps you meet the earth. That helps your connection. It's not cheating. Some people will say that. They're full of it. Don't listen to them. I use the styrofoam blocks. There are also wood blocks. They're more expensive and they're much heavier. So I found the styrofoam blocks to be adequate for me. Straps. You can use an old belt. You can use a towel. But I think the best straps are probably the ones that have a little bit of elasticity to them, that stretch a little bit. they'll allow you to go into stretching a little bit easier than a stiff belt. But a belt's fine. Your feet. Most practicing people in yoga are barefoot. But there are yoga socks that you can buy if you don't like to be barefoot. I haven't found that to be necessary, and I have pretty sensitive feet. I would rather be barefoot. I'm really, really worried about slipping, and I've never seen anybody in yoga socks slip, but that would be one of my fears. So you might want to get a pair and try them out if you don't like to be barefoot. If it doesn't bother you, then be barefoot. Because we often talk about spreading your toes out and your feet, really feeling that connection to the ground. And another thing is I think yoga socks may inhibit that connection a little bit. May not, but it's good to feel your feet connect to that floor. If it's possible, a mirror would be good. If you don't have a mirror in the room that you practice in, you might want to go to a mirror after your practice and go into the poses to make sure that your posture is good. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to watch you. Some of you I might see, and you might say, hey, watch me, especially my family. When I see you, you might want me to see if you're in the right posture. But go to a mirror and utilize mirrors. They're wonderful. I think that just about covers everything on yoga equipment. If you have any questions, be sure to message me and I'll be happy to answer you. My next video is probably going to be on breathing, because we need to learn to breathe in yoga. Okay? And then after that, I'm probably going to start some basic training yoga postures. It won't be a full vinyasa yoga class, but we're going to learn one posture at a time and practice it. When we have about 10 or 15 of those basic fundamental postures down, then we'll put them together in a practice. I hope you've enjoyed this. Give me your feedback. I hope the lighting was better. My cameraman was not here with me today, but he will be probably filming me when we do our yoga practice. Namaste.